We're here live. It's Coach Manny. It's our Friday process, and we're here right now. And I say that because the weather is shaky out there. We got a lot of storms going on. If we lose you in the middle of the broadcast, we will try to recover and see if we can put this out there some other way. Hey, it's 90 days to success. That's what I want to talk about today. The 90 days to your success process is a new way of looking at life. It is a way for you to accomplish so much more that you're just plain simple going to be amazed. Up to this point, you might have been working with what people call, let's do a year plan. Isn't that the way most things work? Most companies are doing some strategic long-term stuff, which we're not going to argue with you doing. And then they do the 1 year plan, which even that we're not arguing with you to do. It's a great planning, but it's not execution. And what we want to talk about today is more on the execution side. That process has been around forever, and it asks you to look at the whole year, figure out what you're going to accomplish over that year and how you're going to do it and when you're going to do it, and then put together the goals and tasks needed to accomplish it over the next year. But you know what? The thing is, a year is a long time until you get your hands around it. 90 days is so easy to get your hands around. And that is one of the keys that makes this work. For some, 90 days, a year is a very long time. And this can lead us to putting things off. It can lead us to procrastination. And it can lead us to, it was a great plan at one time, but what happened? And those are the kind of things that hold us back from the success we really search. Who am I? Well, I'm Coach Manny, and I help business owners to increase their sales by helping them to build a process that works strategically, tactically, and of course, we always have to be accountable, don't we? You see, I personally do one thing, and that is I teach you how to double your sales. And the great thing about what we're talking about today in the 90 days to success is that's all part of the process. So if you're struggling with generating business, if your sales team is not on the peak that you want, if you need to hire that first salesperson and you just don't know what to do, or you need to hire a new salesperson because you're just totally frustrated, well, I've been doing this effectively for close to 20 years now, so get a hold of me, see if I can help you. Let's see where it goes. The question for today is, are you ready to make things happen in the next 90 days? Are you ready to see what a process like this can do for you? That's the only thing we're trying to figure out. And we're trying to give you a very much of an overview today. I ask you to share this broadcast, as we always ask you to share the broadcast so we can get plenty of more people out there watching it. And let me just take a note here, shout out a few names. I hope it doesn't embarrass anybody out there, but Bernie, good to have you. Miles, Joe, Tom, the rest of you. Wow, great to have you here today. And I hope that you'll walk away from this understanding and finding out ways to get your business to be more successful. 90 days to success. For those just joining us, today we're going to talk about 90 days to success process, a whole new way, really, to look at your life and getting things done. Up until this point, you may have been working with a yearly process. We're moving you to a process where we're only going to look at 90 days at a time for execution. Don't think, and we'll repeat this later, of course, don't think this is like all those short-term philosophies. This is a short-term action plan that creates long-term success. And The biggest thing it stops is all that procrastination and that thinking about, I can do this somewhere down the road instead of doing it today. So let's get started with the first point we're going to talk about. In a world of planning that can many times mean you have all the great intention to get things done and work them all year long, but just like those papers, those term papers in high school, right? You wait until the last minute. How many of you, now let's be honest, because we all been there, waited till that Sunday night to write that paper? And I hear you. I work better under pressure. Wonderful. But what if you had worked on it just a little bit more? Would the results have been a lot better? It would have. And if you work better under pressure, then the 90-day process to success is perfect for you, because we're going to make it so much easier for you to get stuff done. And when you look at it realistically, you look at companies and you say, why is the fourth quarter so just rocking? Why is it that in the sales process, I know it from a sales standpoint, why is it that we're always really going that last quarter? Why is it you end up working so hard that last 3 months to bring home stuff that, gosh, you know what? If you had brought this home in the first, second, or third quarter, how much more could you have today? And, you know, I've heard great teaching on this. And, you know, Grant Cardone, if you follow Grant Cardone in his 10X process, he says you always got to be thinking bigger, because we don't think big enough. And, you know, if you think you're going to make 10 million, you might make 5. If you think you're going to make 5, you might make 1. And if you think you're going to make 1, you might settle for a couple 100,000. So think big. Get the whole year to work for you, not just that last 3. See, it's much more. It's why you get to goal, but you don't exceed it. It's why the salesperson say, I'm making my numbers, and they really push it in that last quarter. But if they'd have pushed to make those numbers in the third quarter, what would have happened? I was just working with a client recently, and we decided that's what we want to do. We want the next 90 days, we're going to hit the goals that we had set for 6 months from now. What if you work that hard all year long? You see, you just get it done, you do it well. But what if you had it done it earlier? How much better? How much more can you do? Think if you had, and look at your last really high energy quarter and say to yourself, what if I had 4 of those in a year? How much could I rock through the world? You know, when I looked at this and I started, and there's a lot of stuff out there on this process of 90 days, a spark went off in my mind and I got inspired. And I said, you know what? Let me try this. And I started working it. And when I started working it, all of a sudden, I'm seeing light. We've been doing this for a number of quarters now. And we're like, wow. You see, 90 Days to Success isn't a new process. There's been stuff out there for a while. There's been people doing it. We just do it a little bit different than other people. But the key is, instead of looking at 12 months, we're going to look at 6. The payback is to help you get your hands around the process, making it easier to attain your desired results and even greater success. Do you like what we do here? I mean, one of the questions I always like to ask people is, you tune in, are you happy with what you're seeing? Is this stuff working for you? Are you learning something? And most of all, are you able to apply the stuff that we teach you here? Well, I just want to always, I always put the offer out there. The Entrepreneur Toolbox is a great tool for you. And if you were a member of the Entrepreneur Toolbox, you'd see 2 things happening today. First of all, you already have access to the entire 90-day success process at no extra cost, just by being a member. And number 2 is today we start on a really in-depth walk and process on double your sales. So get in today. $29.97 a month. Come on. Why wouldn't you join? I'm going to actually do one thing here. I'm going to put that out there for you so you can, if you're interested, you can pick up that link and get signed up, and I'll make sure you get today's process and you get the 90 days to success. All right, let me keep going, because you're here today to know what is this 90-day success thing about, and how are you rocking? I was working on I know last week we talked about live video, and I hope this live video stuff's working well for you. And the next live video piece we do, just so you know, is going to be on what are the things that could happen. Like today, I was like, is there going to be a thunderstorm? Am I going to get kicked out halfway through? All right. The next question about 90 days to success is, why would I want to do this at all? I mean, I'm okay with the way the process works. I'm making my numbers. Well, you know, my mom always said I need you to do this because I said so, but that doesn't work in the business world, does it? The big reason is actually very simple. It's so much easier to get your head around 90 days than 365. You can see it, you can feel it happening right there in front of you. Now, when it comes to execution, in some ways this process is harder because you have to move so much faster. But the world is moving so much faster and you have to keep up. If you have so much less time to get things done, what are you going to do? You can't take more time. You got to get them done. But in most ways, the success you achieve is worth the journey, and the results can be so much greater. Look, this is a simple process. I want you to get out there and start operating with it. You learn how to give yourself less time and still achieve tremendous results. That's one of the great things. You know, I was here last week, and if you know, we broadcast a day early because I squeezed so much into the day before, I could actually take the next day off and still make everything, and it still really exceed what I had hoped to get to in that time frame. You learn how to give yourself less time and still achieve tremendous results. Look at it. I want to tell you something. If you give yourself 2 hours to do something, you're going to take 2 hours. If you give yourself an hour, you're going to get it done. That's just the way it works. It's the way the human body works. And, you know, I hear old people talking about, well, I don't know how I ever got anything done before I retired. I had to work a job and I couldn't get anything done because you fit your tasks into the time you allocate. This is a key piece of the whole 90 days to success process and why it works. You're also distracted so much less. And you learn that's how much time I have, and this is what I got to get done. I got to get this done. And when you break it down the way we do in the 90 days to success, it's simple. This is the task. I got to get it done. This is the time frame. It's done. Next. Wow. It works. This isn't something that it isn't some theory that we're just giving you today. I can tell you, we tested this process out ourselves. Point number 3. And just so you know, I use this every 90 days. And this process is how I run my business. So I'm not trying to get you to look at something that I don't use myself. All right, let's go to the final piece here today. Whether you're in sales, production, operations, finance, or really any other department out there, this can work for you. It's not just for the salespeople. This process will help you create amazing results, whether you work for someone else or you work for yourself. Just take a moment and understand what happens in corporate America today. You spend months putting together a plan for next year. And we all know we do that, right? And when it happens, and then it happens, and most of the real success happens when? The last quarter. when push comes to shove, when the time frames start shrinking down, when you don't have all that time. But when you're sitting there in January, you're like, how much too hard do I really need to work when my goals are December? How much do I really need to work? Well, if you have a 90-day process and it's focused, you'd be amazed. And I'm telling you, it's not the same as quarterly planning. Quarterly planning, I know some of you out there have used quarterly planning. This is 90 days. You look at 90 days. This is 90 days is where you hit. This is what you want to go in. This is where you want to make it happen. And when you have a list of goals here, these are the things I'm going to accomplish, and then you accomplish them, you're like, oh my gosh, that's how it really works. Take my word. What if you had that fourth quarter mentality all year long? Make the numbers and make the results every 90 days. Get your hands around it and understand the process. One word of caution. This isn't short-term thinking, because part of the 90-day process is we actually work 30 years out. If you get in this tool, the first question you're asked is, where do you want to be in 30 years? And for those of you who might not think you're going to be around, unless you're way over 80, you probably will be around. I know some of you may think this is just like that short-term thinking in America today, which only cares about, what happens this month or next month. This is actually short-term execution with long-term thinking. And you know what? I'm going to take that on my notes here and just put that up there so you can see that and remember it. Short-term execution, but long-term thinking. Amazing what you can do with that kind of process. You start thinking very long-term, but when it comes to making things happen, you're in this 90-day window. Amazing stuff. What do you think? Any comments, any suggestions, any words of wisdom out there? Just send them to me, or just PM, private message me, email me. Take a look. We're going to give you the link here to the product in a moment, but if this is something that you think might work for you, you should really get out there. The price points right now are very low, so just go out to the website, take a look at this. The website is very simple here. I'm going to throw that out there for you right now. If you're interested in looking at the product, it is 90 days to yoursuccess.com. And go out there, check us out, see if this is what might be for you. I can tell you right now, from working with my clients on this process and working myself with this process, the results are amazing. So I know some of you, the economy is booming out there right now. Everybody is just doing well, but the competition for the business is getting, tighter and tighter, because those of us who are doing tremendously well, who have the right process, are just excelling. And this process works whether the economy is doing well or not. So I've probably said enough. That's the introduction really to 90 Days to Success. I hope you'll take a look at it. It's something that you really can use to take your life, your business, and your career to the next level. Get ready to get more done. Get ready to have more free time. Isn't that what we're all about? When it really push comes to shove, how do I get more free time? And ready to dump that frustration because you don't have it. Hey, like always, I'm excited to be here. You know that. And I'm excited to be able to teach you about this process. And thanks for being here. And please share this with people out there that you know. We're also, we're going to pull the audio off here. It will be on our podcast. It will be up on YouTube. So check out 90 Days to Success. It's 90 Days to Your Success.com. 90 Days to Your Success.com. Or just go to CoachManny.com and there's a menu link to the process out there. Thanks for being here today. I hope you've enjoyed the process. I hope you've enjoyed the show. And if you're part of the Entrepreneur Toolbox, we'll see you in about 10 minutes, ready for double your sales.